Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. Welcome to Transfer Hub, your home of Aston Villa's transfer news, links, rumours, noise, murmurings, incomings, outgoings. You name it, you'll find it here over on Transfer Hub and Up the Villa. If you are new to our channel, subscribe. We are 3 away from 26,000 subscribers. 3. One of you out there can be the 26,000 subscriber on Up the Villa tonight. Let's make it happen tonight before the watch along tomorrow. So if you are new, subscribe, help me out, get on the journey. I have got big plans for this channel going into the next season. As a content creator, I feel like it's going to be my best season yet. Smash the like button. Let's go for around 500 likes and comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to do a transfer roundup on all things Aston Villa, where we are right now. But we're going to start talking about something, and we are slightly involved in this because we've been rumoured within this. The Isak transfer saga is absolutely gripping for a neutral. It is gripping. I am gripped, hooked. I'm watching everything, reading every tweet, article about what's going on because it is absolutely fascinating how both sides are going about this. And to be honest, I like aspects from both sides. So before today, we were hearing that Liverpool were going to go in for Isak. Liverpool, about 2 weeks ago, had gone to Newcastle and said, we want Isak. And Newcastle were negotiating with Ekitike, showing big ambition to try and sign the two. Or did they know that Liverpool would come in anyway? But they were looking at Ekitike and Liverpool go in and go, can we have we want Isak? And they go, no. And they go, well, if you don't let us have him, we'll get Ekitike. And they just go out and get Ekitike, just like that. And then today, they bid for Isak, around 130 or 110, 60, 60, and 10 add-ons, or however you're looking at it. And everyone's reporting on this bid that's gone in. Newcastle flatline it and go, no. And then you're like, what's happening next? There's a couple of ripples of another bid going in. And Liverpool go, we're not bidding again. And it's like, the whole thing's fast. You want him. You've put a bid in to be the record signing in English football. And then, no, we're not doing it. Newcastle are standing firm and saying, no, we're not accepting that. Fair play to them. They value this player very, very highly. What I will say about this is I really dislike what Isak has done, and I really dislike what Wissa is doing at Brentford. I have got no time for players that refuse to train or refuse to be a part of something because they want out of that club. For me, it's like, as a player, it's lowest of the low. I mean, you've got to think of the club that has took that chance. Every transfer is a chance. It's a risk. They've took the risk to bring you in. They've paid you the wages. The fans adore players from each club, and you're being that disrespectful. Now, he's probably been advised that that's a tactic of getting out, but it's very difficult now for Newcastle because, yes, they now still have this player. They still have this world-class player, but he doesn't want to be there. And the fans are now writing banners, and it's just not a good combination. And this is why I feel like he probably is going to go in the end, because the relationship is just not right. There's a lot of good players in that Newcastle squad, like Gomes, Tonali, who will have a lot of respect for Isak. But knowing what's going on and how he's been, I think they'll really dislike that. Even Anthony Gordon. So that aspect of it, I've got no time for. I really hate it. But seeing how the two are just clashing and dealing with it. It is intriguing. So, yeah, I don't know how it gets resolved. What I probably feel like is this bides Newcastle a bit of time to try and look for a replacement for Isak. The names that are doing the round: Strand Larson, Muniz from Fulham. I mean, they're like just like third-rate strikers, aren't they? They're nothing. They're nothing to write home about. So it probably gives them a bit of time. I imagine Liverpool probably would bid again late on to test waters, and then maybe they walk away. But Liverpool are sort of saying that if we want you to come back to us and tell us whether you're ready for us to bid again. So it is really, really fascinating. But one thing that has come out from all of this is that the Newcastle journalist, is his name Craig Hope, I think his name is, isn't it? Is it Craig Hope? Let me just clarify. I'm sure his name's Craig Hope. Anyway, he's been saying that Craig Hope, that's it. If given encouragement, Newcastle are likely to make a move for Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins. I'm not buying this. This all feels very guesswork. And I've been reading this Craig's piece that he's been doing, covering this, and it's, to me, it's very scatty. Everything's so scatty and reactionary to the situation because he's on the tour with Newcastle that I don't actually think he has a clue what's going on with general targets. I mean, speaking from my perspective on Watkins to Newcastle, I just can't see it. I mean, they're in the exact same situation that Aston Villa are in. We're both in the same boat. We're both aspiring to continually be in the Champions League. Finances, we're having to work around them still. We would not go and sign a 29-year-old striker. We wouldn't go and do that. So I don't see why Newcastle would do that and pay that amount of money. I just don't understand it. And I think Villa's situation is completely different by having a 29-year-old striker because he's ours and he performs and he scores goals. So I think the two are completely different. Now, the weird thing and the name that keeps popping up, and I find it, I do think there's something in this, but then I do think Tom Colomose put out a tweet a couple of days ago, an article saying that Villa were looking to sign Samu Agahawa. Now, I imagine we've touched bases with Porto and asked what the situation is and what's going on and where are we at with that sort of situation. But we're looking at around 55 million euros. So what's that? Is that around 40 something million, I reckon? Translation. Well, yeah, I'm not really going to do that with prices. But so he's a profile that I actually do really, really like, and I think he would be suited eventually at Aston Villa. And I think we had I had a comment the other day saying that we've got to, I don't know whether he was aiming at me or we've got to aim away from sort of sentiment of players. And I understand that because we'll get onto sentiment in a second with another player. And where I'm at with Ollie Watkins is, I'm a massive, massive Ollie Watkins fan. Really, really like him. Rate what he's done for Villa. But I'm not saying Ollie Watkins isn't ever going to be sold. And I'm not going to be like saying that we should sell him. Like, there will become a point where I would see sense in selling Ollie Watkins. There will become a point because obviously we want, what direction will we be going in after this season? Who knows? Who knows what season he's going to have? And there will become a time when we do have to sign another striker. And Samu Agahawa is somebody that I would like at Aston Villa. My issue with bringing in this type of player right now is that I feel like it's completely the wrong time to be selling Watkins and bringing in someone like Samu Agahawa. And I'll tell you why. If this window we had gone out and signed a right back, a winger, attacking players, and our window was looking like what Liverpool have done. They've gone out and left back, right back, number 10. They're probably going to sign a winger. Maybe. But with our current window, we're looking like we're going to have to try and stabilise and get through the season. And hopefully players can sometimes up their game a little bit. We need Watkins' goals. Like, I don't want to have any uncertainty about somebody up top who may or may not adapt to the league straight away. And that's my general point regarding Watkins and the striker situation. So that's basically how I feel. I'm not saying I'm never not going to say sell Watkins. I'm just saying I don't feel like now is the right time to do that. And then with that, we've got rumours from this guy saying that Watkins could potentially be going to Newcastle. I just do not see it whatsoever. I just don't see it, if I'm being honest. So there's the striker sort of roundup of where we are. Now, there's a rumour now circulating that West Ham have made Jacob Ramsey their number one target as talks continue with Aston Villa over a deal. There is a small thing in the back of my mind that's saying that Ramsey could have a good season for Aston Villa. But there's too much of a something's got to happen there for that to happen, I think, because I just feel like, yes, he's had the injuries, but he's just not kicked on enough for me. And we're talking about 30 to 40 million here, him going to West Ham. And that money could be utilised elsewhere. Now, the biggest issue with this is he's not actually on that much money. His wages aren't that high. So when we're looking at SCR and you're thinking, let's just have a quick brief look at Aston Villa's wages. So from what I was gathering from SCR is that if we bring a player in, their wages have got to be less than the player that's leaving. That's the general gist that I've got. And Jacob Ramsey's wage is 70. So if we have a look at the wage structure here now, he's on 70. I mean, Ealing Jr.'s on 45. Dobbins on 25. Again, Buendia's on 75. So, oh God, Dendonker's on 90. I knew this. I knew he's on 90, but looking at it, doesn't. I mean, Bailey's on. Right, okay. This is why it's so important that Bailey and Buendia go. Buendia's on 75 and Bailey's on 120. So I know I've gone off on one here, but if Bailey goes, we could sign a good winger on 80, 75, 80. We could get a really good winger for that. Same with Buendia. Buendia goes, we could get a good player that's on, say, 70. So you're saving $5,000 a week. Ramsey's on 70. So, and he also classes a homegrown. So Ramsey, like, even though he could go, he's not going to make a massive difference. And that's why I'm kind of in the back of my head thinking maybe he should stay. But then on the other hand, like, I've got to be honest to you guys, I just think he's okay. I just think he's okay. I think he disappears. And I know it's pre-season, but the games in pre-season, I've watched the one against Walsall. You know, he was captain, and I just thought I can't even tell he's on the pitch. And he's like a senior pro. And that might sound harsh to some. That might sound really harsh, but I'm just being honest. Like, his numbers are low. I think we could sign a better player. And then that comment the other day about sentiment, like, I'm not saying he should stay just because he's one of our own and he's a youth product. Like, I could just sit here and say that and play it safe, but I actually think he's just okay. And I do believe that we could go out and sign a better player. So for me, I would probably sell Ramsey, even though I don't actually feel like it's going to make a huge, huge difference. And it's not really going to allow us to do loads. You sell Bailey, allows you to do loads because of the wages that you're able to save and then cut and then bring in and have a differential. So, 70 grand a week for a Premier League footballer is that's just an average wage for, say, some players. So for me, that's where I am on the Ramsey situation. He could stay and have a really good season, and I would back him. I would back him to do well. I would strive for him to do well. But again, that's more of a case of like me having a bit of hope, like hoping he does well. It's not me saying like, I know you're going to perform this season. Like, I look at Watkins, I look at Rodgers, I even look at Marlon, and I look at Pau, I look at Konsa, I look at Kamara, I look at Tielemans, I look at Matson, and I go, I know you're going to do well this year. But with Ramsey, I'm like, I don't know. And I don't really think there's a Villa fan out there that could categorically say he's going to have a really, really good season. So I think we're in just a bit of a random position with it, really. It's probably one where we could keep or settle. Do you know what I mean? That's where I think we're at. I think there are more pressing players that need to walk out that door. We're also hearing that Anderlecht are in advanced talks with Yassin Ozcan on loan from Aston Villa. So again, someone that's been involved in pre-season that's now moving on. So I had him ahead of Mosquera. So I imagine Mosquera's going on loan. Then I would imagine Bogard is going to be in and around the centre-back situation, right back, CDM. I did a really cool episode on the villains that went down really, really well. So I'll put that video on the back of this one, so you can check that one out. So I think it's just interesting to hear your thoughts on Ramsey and the situation with him and where you're feeling and how you're feeling about it. I actually thought for some reason Villa have put into my phone that the game is tonight, well, tomorrow morning at 1:15, but it's not. Like Villa have put in my phone for some reason that the game is at 1:15 in the morning, but it's not. It's at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So we will be doing the watch along tomorrow evening. We'll start it at 9:30, and we will be doing the watch along. Hopefully we'll have more in here than last time. I mean, we had 15K last time, so it was quite a lot at 1:15 or 1:30, and then we went into the early hours, 2:30, 3 o'clock, etc. So, Villa fans, let me know your thoughts on everything that I have discussed. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. I have fired up the FPL team as well. So, the FPL League. So let me just try and quickly log in. And if I log in, I might be able to put the code on the screen. Right, 2 secs. Let me log in. My team name's good as well. And I am absolutely shocking at this as well. So I am useless at it. And because to set up the league, you have to do a team. So I've done a base team. So let's try and find the league if I can find the code. Configure leagues. Is this going to work? This might not work, but if not, I'll let you know on the next one. Join leagues. Right. Public. No, I don't know. How do you see what the league is? Right. Might have to bear with me on this. I think we've got like over 1,000 people in this league as well. So it is a big league, but I actually can't find out how you figure out how to join the league. But anyway, let me see if I can see my team as well. So this was my team that I went for. It's like a base team, basically. So I've gone with Bezo in goal, Kukurea, Kirkes, and Ain't Nori, Wirtz, Cunha, Rogers, Adingra, Mamouche, João Pedro, and Ekatike. And then I'll normally go for like a crap bench, but I've actually got Dorgu, Watkins, and Saliba. So I need to fine tune this because it's too strong across the board. But for some reason, when I click leagues, it doesn't let me. What's configure league mean? Does that not give you the code? I'm absolutely waffling at the end of this. I apologize, but I'm trying to get out, find out how you join the league. Anyway, we've got loads of people in here already, and when I know the code, I'll let you all know what the code is. But I can't, for some reason, figure out where to find the code. Right, anyway, waffled. But there is a league, but I don't know what the code is. So, and then we'll fine-tune my team. Don't worry about that. Right, so those are my thoughts. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you tomorrow. If there's any transfer news in the day, I'll update you. If not, I'll see you on the watch along tomorrow. Up the Villa.